All right, and we're back again because Amadeus and I just cannot quit talking. We have so much to discuss. So we decided to just add another hour to it, or however long this one will take. Let's see if I can get this show back on the road. I hope he comes back in here because we had so much to talk about, and there were still a couple of questions, and I didn't get to them all, and I couldn't really remember all of them. So let's see. I am back in there. Hey, Daryl. We just cannot stop talking. Part 3. Well, we have so much to talk about. It's crazy. It's crazy how much knowledge he's kicking to us. Like, that's some real stuff. Like, people actually can use all of that and apply it to their careers or their up and coming careers. And I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I hope it's valuable to you guys. Real great participation. Thank you. Again, if you have questions, put it in the question box. I did not put that in the pinned comment, but yeah, that's okay. Daryl, yes, you're gonna have to be on this as well, including Fred. Thank you so much for connecting me with Fred today. Let's hope Amadeus is coming back in here. Oh, man, this dude's gonna keep having me do monologues. Come back. I don't want to do monologues. Oh, dang, I didn't even type this correct. What now? He's grabbing some water with Amadeus. Part 3. Questions in question box. Oh, the vocal producer that worked with Prince. Yes, I definitely want to. Yeah, that's good. Yes. Yeah, Fred definitely would tie all that in. That's awesome. I hit up Fred actually. All right, welcome
Be
back.
back.
Got your water? Got your water. Okay, so Real posted a question because I tried to remember all the other questions that I didn't get to, but anyway, I just told them to put them in here. Do you ever travel to produce? So visiting a different city or country for inspiration? Well, obviously not now, but did you do that?
Not purposefully, like not on. It was more so of me touring with, like, it's a blessing of me touring with Trey Songz that allowed me to do that. And I've been touring with him for 13 years, so it's definitely a blessing to be able to tour the world with him, go to different cities, different places in the world, and that definitely was a blessing to me and allowed me to meet a bunch of amazing people all around the world, be inspired by all of the different cultures and individuals that I had, a pleasure of meeting, the different music, the different food, the different currency. So all of that definitely was was inspirational to me when it came back to the studio and production. Now, one thing that I've always done while being on the road, I never produced on the road. I never made any beats, any music on the road. When I was on tour, and my focus was
Wow.
live shows. Yeah, live shows and performances, and making sure that mentally and spiritually and physically that I was in the right space to go on stage every night to be able to deliver that hour and a half or 2 hour set and be on point. You know, so a lot of work,
Right.
a lot of hard work, a lot of hustle. And I just wanted to separate the two. Me being a music director and a drummer, I wanted that to be on this side, and me being a record producer, I wanted to be on that side. Now, I did send out music. I still worked from a producer's point of view, like from the business side,
Right.
sending out music. Jeezy's working on an album, Fab working on an album, sending out music, checking emails, responding to emails, collecting checks, sending out invoices, that side. But in regards to creativity, I didn't create at all whatsoever when I was on the road touring with Trey Songz. I waited till I got
But
back.
sorry.
No, I just waited till I got back home off the road,
Right.
and then I would transition and tap into the producer side of things.
So you're the first producer that I met or talked to that says that. And I've met a lot of producers.
Right.
Everybody brings their MPCs. Everybody brings their little whatever machines they're using that they can, travel with, and sit in their hotel rooms. Like I've been in hotel rooms and seen whole setups,
right,
where they're busy. But also a lot of producers that use their time off while touring in Europe to go into studios over here with artists from over here.
Right. And again, I think everybody, has his or her own way of approaching things. And I think
but again, I think that's what I've noticed in talking to you about how you go about certain things. It's very well thought, and it's very purposely. How I say that?
Right. Like purposeful, like
purpose.
On purpose.
You do that with a purpose. You don't just not do it. You not do it because of a reason.
Right.
Because of who you are and how you best work. And I think that is something that in our conversations on live and off live, it really separates you from most producers or artists that I know.
And I think it's about your role too, like what you do while you're on the road, right? Now, for me as a music director, my role may be different for others, different from others, right? So something goes wrong on stage, or we need to change the set, or like that's and let me just break down for the people that are tuned in my role as a music director. My role as a music director is to basically bring Trey's vision together on stage. So when it comes to what songs we're performing and choosing those, that's my job. When it comes to segues going from one song to another, that's my job. When it comes to how much of that song we're performing, how many songs, making sure we don't go over the time that we've been given for the set list, the sound, Trey being comfortable on stage, hearing everything he needs to hear. I'm mic'd up, so Trey hears me in his in-ears. The band hear me in their in-ears. The lighting directors hear me in the in-ears. I call a lot of cues throughout the show. So my responsibility, besides, and I'm playing drums, so my responsibility is a lot. And what I would never want to do is trying to do too much or trying to make sure I'm producing.
Where you do shit half-assed.
And allows for mishaps or something to not go right on stage based off of me devoting my time and that energy, making that beat versus making sure I'm available for Trey and the team if Trey wants to do the half of the last end of the show different. I don't want to end the show like this tonight. I need to make sure that mentally I'm in that right space and I'm in show mode to make sure that I'm on point and I'm on cue and not, over here working on this record for Fab.
Right.
And Trey needs me and I'm not in the right space. So I'm just very careful of that. Not saying that I can't do it. It's just something that I
choose. You choose to focus
like,
on one thing.
Right. And that's just me. So shout out to, because Trey goes to the studio while we're on a tour. Like he has a studio on his bus.
Right.
He has it. He'll write a song. And again, just to be clear, I'm not saying I'm not working on anything musically. I'm saying I'm not producing. I'm not creating and making any new music. You know what I'm saying? I got a computer right here sitting in front of me with thousands of beats. So if somebody goes, hey, I'm in the studio right now, send me a folder. I can do that based off of all of the work that I've done when I wasn't on the road, so that, and then you got to prioritize, like you said, where when I'm not on the road, I'm going in. I'm going ham. There's 5, 6, 7 beats a day. If they're keepers, I keep them, and I'm building up the catalog. So when I'm on the road and I don't want to do that, I can fall back and say, you working on that? I'm ready to go. I'm locked and loaded. So that's another approach and way of thinking.
So what Ty Busy says, it's very professional, and I agree. I agree with it being professional because you take your job serious. And again, it's not knocking people that can't do 5 million things at the same time. I'm the same way. I can do multiple things. I'm not just one person. We've been talking about me doing artist management, but I'm also a music journalist. I do multiple things, but I make sure I'm focused on the task at hand. I can't be doing 5 things at the same time. Even if I can, I don't want to, because I feel like I'm not doing the best job that I could do. Whether people agree with that or not, because I've done interviews where people are like, "Oh, that was so great," and I was like, I could have done better. That's me. You know,
being hard on yourself.
Better. Yeah, I want to be better than the day before. So that is I think it's very professional. On top of that, when you're touring, I've seen a lot of artists tour, and I've been on tours with artists. And you have to also understand that when you're on tour, your time is off, your food schedule is off, your whole health is off. So if you do too much, it can actually affect you to the point where you get sick, where you're mentally not focused and foggy. So that's also something that I also strongly encourage people that start touring, that do that for the first time. Like, make sure your condition is on point before you go. Stay in the gym, eat healthy, and do that prior to touring. So you build your immune system, and you can handle that little off-schedule life.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. That's
really important. But to answer a Real's question about the travel, we are in the midst of trying to get Amadeus out here when travel opens up. So I know that he's organizing a lot of classes for students as well. So we can actually see if we can put you into master classes as well out here.
Awesome. I would love to. Looking forward to that.
God willing, when the borders open and Corona is gone. There are no more questions because I left them in the other live.
So if you had questions, put them back.
So people, if you have questions, if I didn't get to your question before, then please make sure that you put them in the question box here or over here. Somebody asked what the first song was that you produced.
Cradle to the Grave was actually my first song for Foxy Brown.
I know, but that was your first breakthrough. But what was your first song that you produced? Could be for your homie on the block.
That's a good question. I might be, what's this kid's name? Oh God. I got it. Nucci Rayo. He was an artist from New Jersey that was signed to MCA Records at the time. MCA? Yeah, remember that? MCA Records. Yeah, he was signed to MCA Records. And he picked a track of mine that I produced. And it featured a lot of up-and-coming artists. I'm trying to think if I can remember their name. It was a female artist named Mae West, who changed her name to Lady Mae. It's an artist named Brills, if I'm not mistaken. There was an artist named Jinx the Juvie. There was a few artists. But what was dope about that session was I was a baby. I was a little baby. They had champagne and was celebrating the fact that the track was being done, and I wasn't even definitely not even old enough to drink, but I definitely was drinking in there. And
old enough to drink out here, so
listen, I remember being so happy and so excited, and just hopping all around and smiling in all of the women faces at the little cute.
No, that is cute.
Smiling in all of the women faces, and I'm gonna tell you what happened to me though, because I was young and I was probably about 14, 15 years old. Oh, I threw up.
You got taken advantage of.
Definitely threw up. Definitely threw up in front of all the girls in the actual studio. Funny. But they didn't laugh. They didn't clown me. They was just like, believe it or not, it made the situation even better, believe it or not, because they looked at me like, oh, he's so cute.
Aww.
He's so young. He's excited. He produced a beat and he's just excited this is happening for him. Oh,
Right.
so I remember finishing a session with me laying on two of the girls, like me fully laying down.
Is there footage of this for
absolutely,
a
absolutely
future
not.
documentary
Right,
about Amadeus?
absolutely. At least I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to hit some of the older bros up to see if anything. But I remember just being laid out on the couch.
It will be now. Everybody with their cell phones. This is
oh yeah.
where you blessed
oh yeah.
to have that happening back in the day. Because
right.
there's no footage of that.
Yo, that was a night, man. I remember I was laid out on the couch, my legs across the girl, my head across the girl, and the girl just like rubbing my hair for the remainder of the night.
Oh, they were taking care of you.
Epic.
So have you told anybody this story in an interview?
Never.
Okay, so this reminds me back in the day when I was actually doing interviews with artists. I would always ask a question like, tell me something that you've never told any journalist before.
Right.
And since you were posting about Kevin Hart with his birthday, he actually told me something that he never told anyone before as well.
Wow.
He used his, he didn't, at some point on the road, he didn't have clean underwear anymore. And he turned his drawers inside out.
It's a pretty good idea.
This is the type of stuff that I think is funny to ask people because it's not your average question.
Right.
That's
pretty good.
But I'm going into an average question, which we didn't touch on in part 1 and part 2, since this is part 3. Who is still on your bucket list to want to work with? Like, before this life is over, who do you really want to have worked with? It could be a musician, it could be an artist, it could be a producer, right. It could be a filmmaker, whoever.
Definitely Jay-Z and Beyonce, Usher, Rick Ross, Kurt Franklin. I love Mary Mary, the gospel group.
Yeah, Mary, I love them.
Who else? So from the music side of things, my homie is Odell Beckham Jr., the amazing wide receiver in the NFL.
Right.
And I really want to have a conversation with him, like just how we, have our IG lives, or just to really get into his story, because I know, he's done some interviews, not really a lot, but they haven't tapped into what I would want to tap into with the conversation, so that's right. Definitely, been a person during this quarantine that I wanted to chop it up with. And he responded and just said, I think because I hit him in March, and it was kind of the beginning of it. Right. He wasn't really vocal and wasn't really out there like that. So maybe I should, run that by him again. Yeah, just to see. But him, yeah, I think though, and of course the list.
Is there a reason why you haven't worked with the artists that you've just mentioned? Because honestly, I would have thought they could easily been on your
right.
resume already.
It's not as easy as it may seem to connect with people.
Right.
Jay-Z being the icon that he is. And it's funny because we toured together. Trey opened up for Jay-Z on the Blueprint 3 tour. So I saw him every night for a month and a half, but right. I didn't feel like there were moments where it was like, can't just pull up to Jay and start talking.
You don't want to bother. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to create that moment. You don't want to be out of pocket being that right. I am with Trey Songz and I represent him and his team right. and his brand. You don't want to embarrass him. You don't want to step out of line and do right. something that can make him look at you like, what are you doing? So, and I've seen
had those moments.
Yeah. So I just feel like timing is key. Recently, while actually in the pandemic, I've connected with, the president of Beyonce's company, Parkwood Entertainment. So you just never know how things right. and, come around. So maybe the time is now. Who knows, and it just goes to show you that you can be very successful in your area. And it still takes a good amount of work and energy to connect with certain individuals and certain people that you will want to work with. So I just,
it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing with Rick Ross. I remember Rick Ross was standing right in front of me. And and it was on the Jay-Z tour. Trey, I think we were in Atlanta or somewhere, or Miami, and Trey wanted to bring him out. And Trey was sitting right there in my dressing room, and I was sitting there like,
right.
But again, it wasn't the moment to be like, yo, if Trey didn't go, yo, Ross, this is Amadeus. Amadeus, this is Ross. Then
Right.
to me, it wasn't the right time. You know, I mean, he knows
So
what I do. You know, he knows what I
right.
do, and if he doesn't connect the dots or create a moment where's that
Then
moment,
that's
then
not the
then that's
right
not the
time.
moment. You know,
Right. And so the reason I ask this question to almost all my guests is because I want to speak it into existence. So
got
you're
you.
going to work with these people
Amen.
at some point. Um, so we just spoke it out now. So
Amen. Amen. I receive it.
yes, I do see a question pop in.
Okay.
Oh, a couple actually. Um, Okay, so but Real just said you probably already answered this question already. He says, "How do you network now, and do you
It's a good
still
question.
have to?"
Love that question. No, I haven't. I actually haven't answered that. I'm really big on emails. As you can see, it's just how I actually got to connect with Pay. I'm really big on emails and sending out emails, introducing myself. Because she even mentioned that, like with the accolades that you have, your resume, it was surprising for you to deliver the message to me the way you did. And
Right,
I said to
as
Pay,
if I was the celebrity.
yeah, everyone doesn't know who I am. Everyone is not maybe not be familiar with my music, with my production, with my journey. So I always use that moment to introduce myself and to share that information with them as if they don't know me. And I feel like that's the best way for me and the
And
best
I didn't know
approach.
you. I
Yeah.
didn't. I know
Hmm.
your music. I just didn't know you were the man behind it.
Right, right.
But we touched on that in part one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's perfect. I mean, there's so many people in the world, right? And there's so many people that do what we do. So it's impossible for each and every single person to know every single person in the music or in sports or in entertainment or in the interview world or on the
Right.
management scene. It's just impossible. So it's always, you will be introducing yourself to people for the rest of your life. I don't care
Yes.
who you are. I remember a clip of me seeing of Jay-Z. Jay-Z took, the subway to Barclays Center when he was opening up Barclays Center and was performing that night. And people were going crazy. And he sat next to an older woman, and she looked at him and she was like, "Everybody's." And it was such an amazing moment. So everybody's really, going crazy over you and wanting to stand next to you. Should I know who you are? Are you famous? And this is Jay-Z, and he's and
Right.
and his response was so dope. And he was like, well, yeah, I'm a recording artist. I'm a musician. I'm going to play a show at the Barclays Center. It's opening tonight, and I'm one of the owners, and I'm going to
Right.
play a show tonight. My name is Sean. My name is Sean Carter. But they call me Jay-Z, and she was like, "Well, nice to meet you, Jay-Z." So it just goes to show you, everybody, don't know you. In regards to the networking, um, social media is here. Something that wasn't here when I was coming up 19 years
Right.
ago. I had to really get out there, meet people, put my face to the name, shake hands, hand out CDs, hand out cassette tapes of who I am as a producer. Now we're in 2020 where now I can display my work. I can display whatever it is I want people to see, my production, my touring, my drums, my teaching. I'm able to display that on social media and to be able to
Right.
follow people, reach out via DM, reach out via emails that might be in their bios, to introduce myself. So those are some of the things that I do, even back then and still to this day, to network and to connect with people.
Right. So the hour before this, I saw Jay Hatch coming in.
Yes.
So he reached out to me after our first talk
Okay.
about his new platform. And I was like, okay, who's this? I'm checking him out. And it turns out that I had bought his book a few
Wow.
years ago, and read it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy whose book I read.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and so for me, that was another confirmation that this talk that I'm doing is connecting everyone. And in his book is actually a producer that he's worked with, Drawzilla, that I knew
Yes.
from back in the day as well.
Wow.
So everything is connected.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to my brother Jay Hatch, man. Amazing
Yeah, yeah,
individual.
and I actually have. He's going to be a guest as well on the 20th.
Awesome.
Yes, because I
Awesome. I'll
definitely feel
definitely
like
tune
he
in.
has some stuff to
Oh,
say
he's
as well.
amazing. Amazing.
Yes. I saw Recluso Dinra talk about why work with the people that are already something and not the hungry. Well, I'll tell you this: if you go back to the first talk, Amadeus actually works with everybody that has talent. Doesn't matter who you are. So just the fact that he wants to work with these people is because he wants to work with those people.
Right. Yes. I actually, before the pandemic, shout out to my brother Ahmed. He has a platform called Power is Industry, right? And once a month or whenever I was available and in town, I would be a special guest at this showcase. And it was an artist showcase that he did monthly. There will be about 30 artists that will perform, and each artist would get 7 minutes, and I would show up, give them words of encouragement, speak to them before the performance, and I would sit and watch and listen to every single artist perform. And I would do that monthly or whenever I was in town with him. And I would give them a free track. Whoever I chose at the end of the night, I would give them a free track,
That's awesome.
courtesy of me, just to be a blessing. I know how hard it is to break into the music business and the industry, and it would just be my support to them in regards to being a new artist. So I definitely have, a love and passion for inspiring up and coming MCs and artists. So that's something that I do daily. Even Jay Hatch has a producer platform where he has producer showcases, and I judge a lot of Jay Hatch's.
Coming up again, I saw.
Yeah, I judge a lot of Jay Hatch's producer showcases, listening to up and coming producers, giving them feedback of how they can become better and how they can grow. Even before the pandemic, I've done a few of them online, IG lives, judging producers. So yeah, the up and coming producers and artists, definitely a soft spot for me. And definitely something that I loved and to be a blessing and to give back to. In regards to working with me, being an up-and-coming artist, all I ask is that you're passionate about what you do, you love what you do, you're focused on what you do, and that you handle your business. People say, well, you don't work with, make sure that your budget is on point. I'm not the person that'll turn you away if you say I have this, but at the end of the day, make sure you do your homework. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you know who I am and who I worked with and who I work for. And so when you come to me, that whatever number you come into me wouldn't be disrespectful based off of my name, my brand, and what I've done in the last 20 years of business. I'm not asking you to pay me for what Chris Brown will pay me. I'm not asking you to pay me what a J-Lo pay me. But I can go to your page and you might have a whole Gucci outfit on, and that Gucci outfit might cost you $3,000. So don't come to me saying, I got 200, come to me and you'll be surprised that I will be willing to work with you, and I will give you that same fire track as I would give a Jay-Z or Beyonce, because I don't give people A, B, and C tracks. I have one style of tracks, and if it's not hot, I dump it.
Listen, people, Amadeus is a fair person. From what I've known and how we've spoken, how he approached me, he is a very fair person, and he treats everyone the same. So It doesn't matter who you are. If you come correct, as we discussed as well, if you introduce yourself properly, if you approach him the right way and value his work before you want to work with him, then that will be okay. I want to tell you a real quick funny story. I was in New Jersey a long time ago, years ago. I was asked to be on a judge. I was asked to be a judge for a Meet the Producers beat battle. And
sounds familiar.
Meet the Producers?
Yeah.
It was through DJ Priority. I don't know if you know him.
Priority. Okay. Sounds familiar though.
Yeah, it was a regular thing. Meet the Producers. They had like a bunch of producers, doing their battle, and I was asked to be a judge because I was working for radio at the time over here, and they wanted somebody from international to come there and give my opinion, and because I played their music on my radio station over here as well. So I was once a judge for a beat battle.
Nice. Nice. Hey, shout out to my mom and my sister on here right now. My mom, my real sister, and my mom just pulled up. Yes,
that's so great.
Unique Pearls, and my mom is iRuth 973. Yes, my mom has an Instagram now, so she popping.
Welcome, family. I have one more question in this box. I know you got to go in a minute. Oh dang, I got more questions in here.
Nah, let's get them. Let's get them while we're in
okay.
Here.
How much music did you have to adjust on the production side while on the road?
How much?
As a music director,
how much music did you have to? That's a great question.
Yes.
How much music did you have to adjust? Quite a bit, because, and I'll say I love that question. So me touring with Trey for 13 years, the equipment that was used were different, right? Of course, then versus now. So, getting a lot of those sessions from producers, which were printed a certain kind of way, Some was hot, some wasn't all together. Some, some came from different engineers. So that's a great question. So it was a very difficult challenge, kind of getting things prepared. And I can't really take credit for that. I would have to give that to we have he's called the playback. We have a playback person who runs the computer, who runs playback. Playback
Right.
meaning whatever files, whatever pieces of the songs that we're using for that particular show or that song, he runs that program.
Right.
And yeah, so he will be responsible for getting those sessions in, chopping it up, making them smaller, making sure they can fit it within that session that we're running the show on. And
Right.
yes, it would be very challenging because every producer would have his or her own way of compiling that session.
Right.
So it would be very difficult. But once we would get it formatted to how we worked and how we ran the particular tracks, we will be able to adjust and make the edits based off of it being filed how we will want to have it filed. And I think we were running Ableton for those shows, and we had cues. So it would be keyboards, and each keyboard key would be a different song. So each song will be on a key, and he would just press the key, and it would load up that song, go right to it in the computer, and play it. But that was a great question.
So he just, as you were talking, he said the whole show will be different by the end of the tour because it evolves and you change so much while on tour. Now, Daryl Keys has worked with Roberta Flack, with Rasan Patterson, with everybody and their mama.
Awesome. So peace and blessings, King.
Yes, he knows what he's asking, and obviously,
and then it also depends on the artist as well. What I love about Trey is that the only way we'll switch something up is if something doesn't work, right? Or if we're in a different region or on a different location around the world, and maybe a song is bigger over there, or you know what I mean, or something resonates a little more. He'll make changes in regards to that, but he's pretty good.
That into consideration too.
Yeah, he's pretty good with once we have a solid show, like he'll let it be, because what happens is the more you perform that show, the more tighter it becomes, because you can rehearse for a month or two prior to tour, and then once you get on tour and feel the dynamic of what it is, like the Ascent changed the whole thing, where it's like, okay, that didn't work, I don't really like that, they didn't respond to that was too long, and then you piece those things together. So yes, going on tour, just know that you have to be flexible, you have to always be on point and be willing to adjust based off of the fan base, where you're at, the city, the state, the region, and know this. A lot of communication happens on the show. You know what I'm saying? Where we're making changes right there. Like Trey can forget a verse and forget where he's at, and I'm saying, okay, we're in second verse of I Need a Girl. And then he'll make a little dance move, lift his shirt up so the girls can scream, and then come back right in where he left off. So a lot of those things happen where, and a lot of people don't know this, and that's the dope part as a professional, when you can tear something up to pieces but not allow the audience to know. Shit can be in shambles, but the audience have no idea that everything is terrible, because you keep moving and you keep going with the flow and you keep vibing out until it gets corrected. So a lot happens on that stage, man, and a lot of people don't know about that.
Now, I've been on tour with an artist that I've managed as well, and this is also where you know that you need really good musicians. Like your band needs to be flexible and talented enough to really instantly hear what the changes are, how they need to also add their value, when they need to be able to communicate directly with you that something is working for them or not. And that they hear differences and changes and things that work and don't work.
I love you said that.
Is very valuable. Trust me.
Absolutely. And that fits us because I played with them all my life. Like, these are my brothers that I grew up in church with and played alongside in my entire life. So we know each other like the back of our hands, like literally,
That's good.
I can call something and everybody can be able to go, or I can stop something, you know what I mean? And everybody will still be able to go. You got to have that chemistry. So I'm so glad you brought that up. It's not about piecing the dopest musicians together around the world and say, play. It's about
No.
seeing who has the dopest chemistry, because you can have the best of the
Right.
best in every area, but when it comes to the flow and how it feels on stage, and like you said, how to be able to put out fires, are not able to do that. They're talented and dope and can
Yeah.
play circles around the world, but might not have those other pieces
That
that are so important.
flexibility or those
Yes.
skills. Yeah. And
Yep.
trust me, I've seen it firsthand as well. That's why I bring it up. I want to say real quick, SS Almighty asked, this is Pay, who once judged the MTP Beat Battle in Montclair. Listen, this is 15 years ago, man.
Wow.
Like, I don't even know how long ago this is, but yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was me.
That's dope.
Yeah, that is really dope. Thanks for joining. I once got yelled at on the street in Brooklyn. Yo, Pay was also a person that had seen me in New Jersey at that beat battle.
Wow.
So
See, you're famous.
I'm more famous,
You're famous.
in the States. One more question. Well, two more actually, if you are okay with
let's
that.
get them. Let's get them.
So Daryl also asked, has something ever failed you during the tour? Do you have a backup for your backups?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can have a backup, right? But depending on what it is, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Not saying that the machinery, but just being able to flow from one thing to another, right? I'll give you a perfect example. Jay-Z tour, us, Trey opening up for Jay-Z. I think my in-ear pack died. So I'm getting, for those that don't know, I'm a drummer. So I'm getting the click for every song in my ears that's keeping me, keeping my timing along, as long as what I'm playing and all of the rest of the music, right?
Right.
So if my pack dies, my in-ears die, I lose everything. So I lose the click, right? Now Trey is relying on me as the drummer to hold a pocket. My drum pack died. I stopped playing because I have to stop.
Yeah.
Trey is singing, but now Trey is singing to the acoustics in the room.
Which
is
if
wrong.
You don't have good monitors, that's really not helping.
Right. So now the beats changed. He's singing to the acoustics in the room, dude. And again, you can't panic. So I'm yelling to the top of my lungs to everything. Stop the track, right?
Right.
And I'm telling Trey to stop. I'm saying stop the track. So the dude stops the track. Trey can tell that it stopped, but he's still going. And I tell him to stop. And I'm like, do a move, do a cartwheel, talk to the people. And we realize where we are. And the band is still playing. So now it's a point of me catching up to them and getting on that beat and us locking in first as a unit and as a band, and then saying to Trey, all right, come back in with the hook right here. Or let's end it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know that song. Let's go to the next song. Y'all don't know that song. And everybody's screaming, everybody's going nuts.
Right.
And then
that's when you rely on the audience.
And then we're in the next song. So that's happened. I had another moment that happened. We were in Detroit, and I ate something too close to performing, and I had to poop.
Oh.
I'm giving you the real.
Oh, he cut out. I don't know what happened. It was just getting good. Let's hope he comes back in. Shit, that's crazy. Shout out to Knox. Thanks for dropping in, man. These are some good stories. Oh my gosh, he was about to poop. He left us on the note that he was about to poop. I can't believe that he cut out on that note. This is hilarious. Let's hope he gets in here because I want to know how that story ends. But yeah, these are awesome questions, and it definitely shows that if you're going on tour, things can happen, and you have to be on point with your band. You have to know how to deal with failure. I've had it as a manager. I had to run around all over the place when the band members had problems with their in-ears, or the whatever technique was failing, and you still have to put on a show. Oh my gosh, please let him come back. I have to do cartwheels. Oh, he's typing to me. No, you cut off. Let me see if he comes back. Well, this is actually good when you are a known artist. Then oh, there he goes. When you're a known artist, then you can rely on your audience to just sing the songs or whatever, have them do whatever you need them to do. So we're all laughing at you because you said I had to poop, and then
Yo,
boom, you were gone. So we're all waiting on this cliffhanger because you had to
yo,
poop.
let me tell you something. So again, we're in the middle of the show, kind of transitioning into like the ballads, right? So I think Trey was singing "Neighbors Know My Name." And the neighbors know my name. He's doing this thing, a lot of ad-libbing. The track is already done, so he's talking to the ladies, interacting, doing this thing. And I'm like, I gotta go, bro, like right now. So the road manager, and I think I said something Trey was too busy like locked into the ladies and the scream, so he didn't hear me. But I was like, yo, I'll be right back. I promise, I'll be right back. I said, I promise, I'll be right back. So the band, everybody's like freaking out. So I run, so the road manager's trying to get me to the trailer because it's an outside venue. We're outside.
Oh my gosh!
And he's like, "Come on, we gotta hurry up." I was like, "Can't run, bro. I can't run, bro. I'm gonna walk swiftly to the trailer." So I walk swiftly to the trailer, and he's like banging on the wall of the trailer, like, "Yo, hurry up, bro. We got it." I said, "You gotta stop talking to me. If you don't stop talking to me, I can't go. Not to get all graphic, but I said, you gotta be quiet, bro. And I finished. I ran back to the joint. So Trey is telling the keyboardist to end. And he's not ending because I'm not there. And I'm the only one that can talk to Trey in his ears. So it's not like he can tell him that I'm not there. So Trey's turning, Trey's like, like trying to signal him.
Everything. Yeah.
So he turns around. And nobody, of course, the audience can't see him. He's like,
right.
and then so my keyboard player Butters, he's like, and he looks at the drums and sees no me, and he was like,
what's going on? Yeah.
So he turns back and goes, so what y'all was saying about me taking my shirt off?
Oh wow, that is. So let me ask you this. Did you guys use like a code signal now in case you have to go for the next time?
No, I don't. I think because again, everybody can hear me. So I just think it was a moment, maybe when I said it, that everything was going crazy, like the music, the women, the screams.
I'm saying if Trey turns around and next time you're not there, have the keyboardist give a shit signal or whatever.
No. So what happens now is basically the monitor engineer, the guy that's mixing all of our in-ears, he's able to talk to Trey. So he can be like, hey, Amadeus had to go to the bathroom, boom, boom. Because this happened numerous times where I had to go or the keyboard player had to go. It's happened when Trey had to go.
And don't be eating beans before the show.
Yo, let me tell you what happened. I had wings. There was like wings? These famous wings. No, they wasn't even spicy. I guess it was just different from what I'm able, to eat. And me, when it comes to rehearsals, shows, like I don't eat at all. Like I don't eat about 2 to 3 hours prior to the show. At all, like nothing. I'll drink,
a lot of water.
I'll drink, but I won't eat. Specifically for that, because you're playing drums, you're moving a lot,
right?
You know what I mean, and it's the perfect way to just bring everything back. Either way,
I'm sorry, that was the best story ever. Like, and especially because you cut out on I had to poop. Boom, you're gone, and we're sitting here like shit. That is hilarious. You should watch that back just for that part.
Funny.
Okay,
man.
2 more questions.
Okay.
Another great question from Daryl. So how do you plan your budget for your team? Is that per song or per project?
In regards to touring or in regards to production?
Production, I think.
So say it again. Now that can go, make sure, because that can go either way.
Well, it says here. So Daryl, if you're still in here, elaborate, please. How does he plan his budget for his team per song or per project? Yeah,
let me see if he's still here. Production.
Yeah.
It's kind of based off of, honestly, the individual artist. You can't go into each and every single situation the same way. Me working with Chris Brown is different from working with Trey Songz. You working with Trey Songz is different from working with J-Lo. So I think if you have a resume and a pretty decent discography, and a track record that you're able to charge a specific fee, I would do that. But also I'm very sensitive and mindful of everyone's situation, so, I remember back in the day where it's like, okay, my rate is 15 grand. That's it. Like it's either you have it or you don't. And then when we're in today where you have so many different producers and so many people doing the same thing you're doing, where they call YouTube producers, right? They call them YouTube producers, where they can go get a YouTube producer for free. I actually had someone tell me that, where it's like, you're charged too much, no disrespect. I'm just going to go over here to this YouTube producer and get the track for free. So unfortunately, because there are people that are doing that, you kind of have to really be careful with a locked fee or a set fee because, and I'll say this, I'm going to give them their props, man. I ain't no hate over here. Right. Yo, a lot of them producers got a lot of heat. So it's like, what would you do? What would you do? You go to Foot Locker say, hey, we got the Air Force Ones, for $100. And then you go to, another sneaker store down the street and they say, yo, we got a sale for $2 for $50. Which one you gonna go? Which one you gonna go with?
Well, like, depends if they're knockoffs or not.
No, they're real. No, real joints, real music. Real kicks, real. It's just for some reason maybe they had too many and they trying to get them off. Maybe the store is closing. Right. Who knows? That's but true. Nah, official tissue, real Air Force Ones. Foot Locker got it for $100. Stadium Kicks got it for two for $100. Yeah. Which one you doing? Let's be real. You gonna get the two. You gonna get for $2 for $100. So I can't even blame them for going that route, man. But with that,
this is true. But for me, honestly, if I had to make that decision as an artist, and not just because I know you now, but I will go for the person that also has the credits because that's valuable too.
It depends. It depends. I think
it depends on how you market yourself, I guess.
I felt like that was the case years ago. Like, and I
guess I'm old school.
No, I mean, we are. Look, I feel like it mattered when there were actual CDs. It mattered when it was actual cassette tapes.
Hey, man, if I'm getting the production from you and I'm singing or rapping or whatever I want to do, you're going to be mentioned everywhere because of what your resume looks like.
But a lot of people don't do that, where it's like nowadays, we're in 2020 where you have no idea who made it unless they got their tag screaming on the beginning of the track, which I don't like.
I give the producer props, so that's me, and not everybody else cares about that. It's their song. They just want to be there. It's their song. Again, we're running out of time. I have two more questions. One from your sister, which I'm going to get to. Actually, she posted here. That's your sister, right? Unique Pearls.
Unique Pearls, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go to hers first. What's one goal musically you want to accomplish within the next 3 years? I was gonna get to that, sis, but okay. Here you go.
I would like a Grammy. I would like a Grammy. Oh. I would like to be nominated, and I'll start off by saying I would love to be nominated for a Grammy. And then the part two of it, to win, obviously. But I feel like the nomination is a big look because you're able to add that to your resume. You're able to add that to your name and to your discography, where it's like, instead of it saying Grammy multi-platinum record producer, you can add Grammy nominated multi-platinum record producer Amadeus. So I think that's something that I would love to achieve. And I agree with you in regards to what you were saying, working with Jay-Z and those artists that I mentioned. And even there's a lot of artists that I didn't mention. It's kind of hard to ask a producer, name, who you want to work with, because there's so many. I can go on forever. There's artists overseas I want to work with. There's artists, that are newer. I like The Baby. I like Lil Baby. I like, Dan L.A. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many ways, you can swing that. So yeah, I think that would be a great thing for me to accomplish in the next 3 years. Thanks, sis.
I wanna brag on my friend Daryl, who's been asking all these great questions. He is a Grammy nominated.
You see, it's different.
Person.
It's different.
I'm not sure if he won one, but I know that he's
even with him being nominated.
Daryl, let us know. Did you win it? I think you did, but I don't want to speak out of
man.
Context.
It's a difference. It's a difference. It's like when and just to kind of put a different lens on it, where it's like, yo,
Look, Grammy winning. There you
yeah,
go. He's a
I
Grammy winning
see.
artist.
Congrats, my brother. Yeah, see, it's different. It's different versus I can say I'm a doctor all I want. I can say I'm an attorney
Right.
all I want. But what does the paperwork say? You know what I'm saying? Like you're not that until you've earned that piece of paper, that
Yeah, you
certificate
got
that
those
says
accolades.
what
Yeah.
who you are, man. And I'm not taking anything away from who I am and what I've done as a musician and as a producer,
Right.
because there's, you know, when you think about it, if it's meant for me to have that, then I will.
Right. And it doesn't
And
take
if
away
not,
from your talent.
not at
It
all.
doesn't take away from the work that you've done, because you
Right.
have to also understand these prizes, these, you know, these little things are only decided by a certain group of people. It
Right.
doesn't mean that the rest of the world doesn't think that you should have won it, and
Right.
there's so many talented people at the same level, but
Yeah.
there's only like a couple of those things to give out. So
Right.
it, to me, sure, it gives you this a certain status on your resume, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily speak to who's better than who, because that's
No, I agree with
also
that.
perception. You know,
Yeah.
it's I say it's in the ear of the beholder.
Yeah. Think about it. If you know, and this is one of my favorite players, right? If Odell Beckham Jr. never win a Super Bowl, does that make him not a dope player?
Right,
You
exactly.
know what I'm saying? I mean, he
Exactly.
obviously wants to win it, but you can't. No, I don't think anyone in the world can say, "Yo, he's whack" or "he's
Right.
not," or you can totally dismiss the catch he made, you know,
Right.
against the Dallas Cowboys. Are you telling me he's not
Right.
incredible because he didn't win the Super Bowl? It's like, no,
And that's the
he's
same.
still same
It's
thing.
the same with actors. It's the
Yeah,
same with anybody doing
right.
anything that they're talented in. I did have one question myself, but it's going to go completely the other way again. So now I'm like, should I end this conversation with a completely different way?
I say
I'm going to,
go.
you
I
want
say
me to
go.
ask you?
I say go.
Okay, so what I've noticed is that a lot of musical directors are drummers.
Not a lot.
Well, maybe
You
I
know a
know a
lot?
lot then.
Yeah, it wasn't like the cool thing. It was like before me. I mean, I'm sorry, there's more. The only one I knew of was Questlove. When I, you know, and that was 13 years ago, obviously. So the Questlove was the only one I knew that was a music director as a drummer. I didn't know anyone else. I never heard of anyone else that was doing it at that time when I started, you know, being a music director for Trey. Now I've seen um, a lot. Not, I wouldn't even say a
I guess
lot
I
more.
know a lot
You might be
that
putting
are
me on. Yeah, you
drummers.
might.
Because I
Okay,
figured maybe that was a thing, but I guess that's not a thing. I
right.
guess I was.
It's normally the keyboardist. You know, it can be the guitarist, it can be the bass player, but normally, you know, um,
Yeah, because I think Chris Daddy Dave is one.
okay,
Daru is one, I think.
okay.
No, wait. I know that Ab is
Yeah,
the
see,
one
I know
for,
Little
he's a
John.
keyboardist.
I know Little
Yeah,
John Roberts, right? But I'm talking about like back then
back in the day.
when I know about John, you know, playing for Jill and all those people. Like from my knowledge, you know, it was like Adam Blackstone and it was like other people
Okay.
that were the music directors. So now, and I'm not saying now like 2020, it could have been 10 years ago, it could have been 5 years from
Right.
now, you know, more present time, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's probably more, because I just don't think it was like the cool thing. You know, when you think about it, I don't think it
And
was the
maybe
cool
then I
thing.
was off. Then maybe I was off because I know a lot of drummers. I
Right.
know a
That's
lot of
dope.
everybody's. Like yeah, well, it comes from my dad having been a musician and being in bands, and so you know
Right.
I always take to musicians behind the artist. So
Got you. Got
um,
you.
yeah, I don't know if I told this story, but when D'Angelo was performing here, everybody was ready to take a picture with D'Angelo, and I was there begging Pino Palladino and Jesse Johnson to take a picture with me, and everybody was looking at me like, "Why does she want to take pictures with those old cats?" And I'm
Man.
like, "Nah, man, these
Pino.
are legends. My daddy's gonna be
Facts.
proud if I show him the photo." And my dad fell out of his chair like, "What are
Wow. They
you?"
got
Yeah,
Pino? Yes, sir.
yeah. And they were super nice because nobody went to them. Like everybody
Right.
was
But they
trying to,
legends.
stand in line. Yeah, that was, and
Right.
I'm forever grateful that they were so nice to me. But yeah,
Great
I take
job.
two musicians. Um, I guess that's why our conversations are different, because when I
Yeah.
speak to artists, I can talk musically as well, because I can read music and play music, because I played the piano as well. So, yeah, I
Yo, it's
speak
funny.
different.
My friend Amanda was like, "True, nobody wanted the headache of being a me." Yo, mind
Yeah.
you, when again 13 years ago, not even knowing what it was, like I was in the studio, and then we talked about it in another part where I was in the studio with Mike Jones working with Trey, and there was a drum set in the corner, and I mentioned them that I play drums, and I'm like, this is Trey Songz's first album. And I'm like, you're gonna need a band. When you need a band, call me. And a year later, he called me. I've never put the band together. I just play drums. And he was
Right.
like, no, you're gonna put the band together. We're gonna go on tour. And that was that. So it was a moment of me learning and him learning. Now, if I would have knew
Yeah.
all that it
Would you have done it?
entailed, I probably did it, right? Because it's
That's
like
my point. Because you want
I
to
probably did
learn,
it.
and you want to
I
see, and
probably
you
did
want
it,
to
right?
know.
Because you don't
So
know. Yeah,
I
I
already
probably
know
did
how
it.
you are, so you wouldn't have
I
turned
did
it
it.
down.
I
You
did.
would not
But
have turned it down.
I would say this: I feel like the moment I can be relieved of, even if it's for a show,
Right.
to be relieved of the duty for one show to
And just
just,
play the show.
oh my God. I'm telling you right now, like I do my thing and I'm being a buck. I do my thing, but it's different because I'm in charge of everything. So
But
it's
can you?
like,
But can you then play as a drummer in somebody else's band?
no. I'm not even saying, well, yeah, I can do that, but I don't know.
Hey, let me ask you a very maybe you don't want to answer this question, but as a music director and a drummer, do you get paid double? Because you have two jobs. I mean, if the
Look,
musician's getting paid, you
I
know.
plead the fifth.
Yeah, you
I
don't have
get
to
paid
answer
what
that.
everybody else get paid.
I'm saying, like, yo, you got the extra job. You should get paid extra, but that's just me.
Maybe we do.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't.
Okay, that's okay. I was just wondering, I just want everybody to be treated
Great
fair.
question. Great question.
We'll marinate on that. I just want people to know that if you're going to have a music director who's also a musician, make sure
Yeah,
that
you
they
might
get
as well.
compensated proper. All right. Well, we're about to end another hour. We should keep
Listen,
doing
man.
this. No,
Listen,
not today anymore.
I'm down with no. We listen. If if you want to do next week, I'll do next week. I love this, man. I really love inspiring people and educating people and just sharing my information and just helping people. That's something that I love to do. So I'm the last person to be like, let's do it again, because I'm just gonna keep saying okay, because every time we get back on, there's always gonna be more things to talk
Yes.
about and different views, and people is gonna have different questions.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'd say let's come back. Let's come back next week, Wednesday, and let's do it again.
You're going to be my most visited guest.
Hey,
And I don't mind, because you actually have stuff that's valuable. You have
thank you.
knowledge, you have information, you are musically intelligent and business
Thank you so
intelligent. So
much.
that
Thank you. I
ties
appreciate
everything
that.
together. And I
Thank you.
think that we have a great energy together. Oh, I'm getting the
Absolutely.
countdown.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Listen, we will be back next week. Stay tuned for the flyer.
Stay
Get
tuned. Gather
Write
your
your questions.
questions.
Yes.
Gather your questions, and we'll be back. My friend, thank you so much for this great
Thank
evening.
you.
You always give me great energy. I'm ending
Amazing.
my day very positively thanks to you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this platform. It's no great conversation without, you being on the other end. You know what I mean? So you
Thank
ask the
you.
questions, you create the environment, you create the atmosphere. So as much as you're giving me love and props, I have to turn that right back over to you. So absolutely great job as always.
Thank you.
Of course, we'll talk offline, and we'll be back
Yes.
next week to do it again, man. So make sure y'all prepared. Thank you for having me again.
And thanks everyone for the great questions
Absolutely.
as well. I could not have done it without you guys. Daryl, thanks. I hope you learned
Shout out
a
to
lot.
Daryl. Hey, Daryl, let's connect, King. Let's definitely connect,
Yes,
man.
you guys have to connect. And
Absolutely.
everybody else that was in here, thank you so much for the support. Please tune in next week again, because we'll be back on next Wednesday.
Absolutely.
I think Wednesday is good.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll talk. Everybody stay safe out there.
Yes, be
Keep
blessed.
your face
God bless.
masks on. Stop hugging strangers. And we'll be back next week. Bye.
Peace.